I'm sorry I haven't posted in literally forever. I've been super busy. Oh, baby. As you can see, but things are starting to get a little bit easier. I'm working into a schedule with Adeline, and I decided I should post a labor and delivery story. I wanted to do a birth vlog, but like things just didn't really work out that way for me. It was hard to get like videos of everything. I had a super long labor, as you will find out, so yeah, I guess I'll just get going with the story. Adeline is a week and a half now, and on August 21st, I started to have labor pains at 3:30 in the morning. So they woke me up at 3:30, and they actually like hurt pretty bad, I thought. I was having them every like 8 minutes, so I stayed up and started to time them, and they got down to every 5 minutes. And I wasn't really like I went to labor, like I went to prenatal class and everything, and they were supposed to tell us about all this kind of stuff, but I never really learned like when to go into the hospital, like exactly and everything. So I looked it up online, and they said when your contractions are every 5 minutes and they're strong, go into the hospital. So I thought mine were pretty strong, and they were coming every 5 minutes. So around 4:30, I woke up Zach, and I told him we should go to the hospital. So we went to the hospital, and I do have a little clip that I'll put in here. On our way, got his coffee, got my smoothie, walking on in.
I thought you were talking to yourself.
Where are you? Oh, there you are. Got your bags, Adeline.
It's very hard to even see. We have to wait till we get in the light, and then we can do some fashion shows.
Yeah.
Daddy's gonna take his coffee and drink it up.
If this isn't the real thing, I don't know what will be, so.
You will be timing out. Time out. No, I'm kidding. We can't do that to you, Adeline.
Okay. We brought like all of our bags and everything in with us, and like we really thought this was the real deal. Like I thought I was gonna go in and have this baby. So we go into the hospital, and I was like at the point where like I couldn't even walk through the contraction. So I thought like they were really strong. And we went in, and they told us they would assess me and everything. And I was literally half a centimeter dilated. So not even a full centimeter dilated, I was half a centimeter. They were like, yeah, you need to go home. Do you want anything for pain? And I was like, no, like I've just been having these like for an hour, like I can go a little bit longer. And I was thinking, okay, so we'll go home, and in a couple hours probably have to come back because I was in pain. But I thought like, oh, I could handle these for a couple more hours. So we go home, and on my way out, I swear I had to stop like 4 times. Like I had 4 contractions just on the way out of the hospital, which was less than 10 minutes. So yeah, we go home, and I managed to sleep a little bit, but my contractions did end up waking me up again. I don't really remember exactly all these details, by the way, because this was a long process, and I know it's only been like a week and a half, but I'm still like kind of still struggling. It's okay. Kind of still struggling to remember all the details, but yeah. So I like took a bath, and I was trying to relax and everything. And then we went over to my mom's house around 9 in the morning. And we were like, okay, let's go for a walk and see if we can get things going. So we went for a walk, and the contractions got even worse, and they were coming like every 3 minutes, maybe 4, but they were like extremely painful at this point. Like I was having trouble to breathe through them, and I was like, oh my goodness. when we got back to the house, we're like, okay, let's go back to the hospital again. I was like, let's go back to the hospital again because like I have to progress. These are really painful. We go to the hospital and she checks me again and I'm like 1 centimeter now. So I've made progress, but barely. And she says that I'm actually like effaced. So I'm almost effaced. Like apparently I'm like super, super close. She didn't really give me an exact measurement or anything, but or an exact percentage or anything, but she says that I'm like she said that I'm like almost there. And she like checked, she was like, whoa, this baby's head is low. She's like, her head is so low. And like, I understand why you're in pain because her head is putting so much pressure down there. And pretty much what she told me was that once I do hit 3 or 4 centimeters, things will start going way faster. But so I was kind of upset that I was only 1 centimeter dilated. I was really surprised. And I was like exhausted already at this point. Like I was just done. And it had only been like a few hours. So we went back to my mom's house and we watched a movie and everything. And then we actually ended up going out for lunch. And at this point I was kind of getting like used, like my contractions, like they were manageable and they were coming like every 8 minutes. So I was like doing okay. I was still like getting exhausted because imagine having this painful contraction in your stomach every 8 minutes. It was still painful, but I continued with my day, or tried to at least, and we ended up buying like an exercise ball. So I was just bouncing on the exercise ball for hours. I just really wanted to make things go faster, but a word of advice, if you are trying to bring on your labor faster, this may work for some people, but for me, all I needed to do was just relax. I wasn't relaxing. I went for a walk and I was bouncing on this exercise ball like for hours, and I was walking around, I was doing stairs, I was trying to get my baby Alan out of me so hard that like I was just tense all the time, and I needed to just relax. If I would have just relaxed right away, things would have gone a lot faster, but because I wasn't calm, I guess, things went really slow. So like I said, I did stairs at my mom's house, and then we ended up going back home to sleep around 9, around like 1 or 2. I don't know when, but we went back into the hospital at some point that night, and I ended up getting a sleeping pill and a shot of morphine. No, I got T3s and a sleeping pill. And I went back home and I slept for maybe an hour or 2. And then I woke up and was in pain again, had a bath, and then I went on the exercise ball again and stuff. And this just went on for like 2 days. I was just exercise ball and going back to the hospital to get morphine and sleeping pills. And I went to the hospital maybe 5 times to just get pain relievers because my contractions were every 5 minutes still for like 2 days. So I'm sorry this story is kind of like all over the place and I'm not doing a very good job at telling it. I just honestly, I forget pretty much a lot of what happened, and yeah, I just forget a lot of what happened, and like this is a long process, and remember this whole time I was exhausted and in pain, so it's kind of like hard to remember everything, but I'm trying my best, so just bear with me. So on like the 3rd day, I ended up getting really frustrated, and I was like, I honestly don't know how much longer I can go through this because I'm in pain and it seems like things just aren't progressing at all. I went to the hospital one last time and they said I was at like 2 centimeters, so I was just like, I was fed up. We ended up going to this like health food store and we got some jasmine oil, which is supposed to help bring on contractions and help bring on labor. Even though I was already having contractions, we thought maybe they would make them stronger. So we got some of that, and then we also got castor oil because we looked it up and we heard that that will make your water break. Like 2 teaspoons of castor oil, I think, and mixed it with orange juice. Zachary just like massaged my tummy with the jasmine oil, and I think that was helping quite a bit. This whole time my mom was also doing pressure points on me, and I think that brought them on stronger too. The rest of the day we just kind of like hung out, waited for things to like get worse than they already were, I guess. I was kind of fed up because I was like, I don't know when to go into the hospital because things are already so strong and painful. I don't know how they can get any more painful for me. So I was like, I was frustrated and I was crying a lot, and it was just like a hard, long labor. But anyways, that night the castor oil didn't really do much except make me go to the washroom, and I went to the washroom a lot. That was quite gross, but so I don't really recommend castor oil at all, but who knows, maybe it could have done something. And then we ended up going to my mom's house to hang out there and watch some movies in her bed. She has a really comfy like memory foam mattress and everything. So we went over there again, and she also has like a really big tub that I soaked in, and I also put jasmine oil in the tub when I was soaking in it. But my contractions got to the point where like the tub wasn't even helping at all, and I was screaming through them. I was literally like screaming because they hurt so bad. I was like on my hands and knees. It would make my contraction feel a lot better, so I was perched over the side of the bathtub and pretty much like screaming in pain, like 30 minutes. And I was actually like, I remember saying to my mom and Zach, I was like, I'm not going back to the hospital. I will have this baby here because I'm not being sent home again. I was just in so much pain. I did not want to get in a car because I didn't know how I would handle the pain in the car. If I had to be on my hands and knees or perched over something, I could not do that in the car anywhere. So I was like, I was scared to get in the car, and I was scared to even leave the bedroom because I didn't know how to handle the pain. I literally thought I was going to die, and I did not want to have the baby in the car, so I was like, let's just stay here so I can just have this baby here. But they ended up telling me, no, we have to go in, and even if you aren't dilated at all, they can give you medicine again, or they can give you morphine again or whatever, and then you can just go back home with the morphine. Well, we go to the hospital again at 1 in the morning on August 23rd, and we got to the hospital, and I was pretty much like telling this nurse, like, I am going to die. Like, I was pretty much like, this nurse knew I was in pain because I was screaming through my contractions. Like, I couldn't handle them. And she checked me and she said, okay, you're at a 3. You need to be at a 4 or a 5 before we give you the epidural. And I was like, no, like, I'm demanding this epidural. Like, I want the epidural. And she's like, so what will happen if we give you the epidural is, she's like, okay, well, we'll give you another shot of morphine, and then she was noticing that like when I was leaning over the bed, it was helping my contractions. So she said, we can give you an exercise ball and you can sit in the shower. She was like a really nice nurse too, by the way. But she said she'd give me an exercise ball, and I could just lay over the exercise ball in the shower and then have the shower pouring over my back, like my lower back, because my lower back was in pain too. And then she said that she's like, put on some music and we'll turn off the lights and we'll put on some music that relaxes you. And she said that this will probably help to bring it on faster. So we did that, and I don't know how long I was in the shower. I probably listened to like 7 songs, so probably quite a bit. And Zach was like leaning over the shower spraying me, and then my mom was like letting me watch the music videos on her phone to just like distract myself kind of and relax and calm down. And she was playing like soft country music, and I got like super relaxed. The contractions still hurt, but I also got a shot of morphine, So they were not quite as painful, still painful, but not like too bad, and still painful, but not as painful as they were before, but pretty close still. So after a while, the nurse comes back in, and she says, okay, we're gonna get you set up in a labor room. And I was like, yes, thank you, finally, this is finally happening. She said, we'll check you and we'll get you started on the epidural if you can be. So she checked me out and I was a 5. So she got the anesthesiologist to come in and give me the epidural, and she also gave me laughing gas to try, but that honestly didn't do anything. It didn't even make me like feel high, really. So once the anesthesiologist, I don't know how to say it, but once he came in, he gave me epidural, and the epidural worked pretty good. I was surprised because I didn't have to have a catheter put in. Like, I could still get up and go to the washroom when I needed to, which was perfect for me because that's one thing that I like wanted to be able to do. I wanted to, once she was born, I wanted to be able to get up and have a shower if I felt like it, because I know how gross people do feel after birth, and they kind of just want to get jump into the shower right away. So yeah, I got the epidural and everything was pretty much like went pretty fast from there. I slept probably for a good bit. Zach's mom ended up coming into the room too, and we all just kind of like chatted, and it was pretty like relaxed setting, and we just waited for me to be dilated. At one point, they did end up getting a little bit concerned about her because her heart rate wasn't accelerating enough. It needs to accelerate over 20 for like 15 seconds or something like that, and it wasn't happening. So they ended up like scratching her head a little bit to kind of like make her wake up and make her heart rate accelerate, and that did end up working, which is good. But I think they were a bit concerned because they were going to wait till 12 and then break my water, like 12 in the afternoon. But they ended up having my doctor come in at 10 and break my water then. So I think they were a little bit concerned about something, but I'm glad that they just kind of like did it on their own without making a big deal about everything. But she came in at 10 and broke my water. And like 11 something, but I felt some pressure, and like, I mean pressure, like, I felt like I needed to poop bad, and the nurse was like telling me, she's like, okay, so you can do some breathing, sometimes going like, or going will help, like, will help stop the urge to push. So I was doing that, but I felt like every single time I did that, it made it like, it made me feel like I needed to push more. So I was like, okay, not doing that. I kind of just like tried to deal with it, and I told them, I was like, I need to push, and they checked me and they're like, okay, you're not ready yet, like just a little bit longer. And then I told them again, I was like, no, I really need to push. I was like, it needs to happen. So they checked me again and they're like, okay, yeah, you need to push. And then I kind of flipped over, and I swear, guys, I've never felt pain like this before. My sisters came in the room by now too, by the way, and they said it was like death screams. Like, everybody was crying, and I was crying because I was in so much pain, but like, they were like, I didn't know why it was hurting so bad, because I heard that pushing wasn't really gonna hurt, it was just kind of pressure, but this hurt. I remember I was just saying, I can't do it, I need to have a C-section because I can't do this. And they were all like, yes you can, you have to, you can do it, like her head's almost out, we can see her head. And I was like, no I can't, like push her back in because I can't do this. And I ended up doing it, but I pushed for 30 minutes and she was born at 11:49 a.m. Little Princess Adeline. So it was a long labor, and it was hard, and it was painful, and it was exhausting, but I ended up getting a perfect little baby, which made it all 100 times worth it. So she is a week old, or a week and a half old now, and I'm just so thankful for her. Watching this, I will get a better clip of Adeline here. That is Adeline Jade. Yeah, so there will be more videos coming up, so stay tuned. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for watching and supporting me. Love you guys. Bye.